everyone, today we'll be taking a look at a specific organic chemistry reaction known as the radical halogenation of an alkene. In this particular reaction, hydrobromic acid will be added in the presence of peroxide to an alkene. Before we begin discussing the reaction, we need to first mention that the radical halogenation of an alkene only occurs with hydrobromic acid in the presence of peroxide. Let's take this reaction with propene for an example. What happens when propene reacts with hydrobromic acid in the presence of a peroxide? 3 steps can be outlined to describe this reaction. They include initiation, propagation, and lastly, termination. First, during initiation, peroxide will cleave and form 2 peroxide radicals. Now, taking one of the formed peroxide radicals, the mechanism will proceed by then reacting with the hydrobromic acid. Fish hooks will be used to show the formation of new bonds, 1 electron from the peroxide radical and 1 from the bond of hydrogen and bromine. This eventually leads to the formation of an alcohol, but more importantly, the halogen radical, which will be used in the next step. The second step is known as propagation. In this step, the bromine radical attacks the propene and can form 2 different intermediates. The bromine can be added to the more or less substituted carbon to form a radical intermediate, forming a primary radical and a secondary radical. In every reaction, we want to go through the most stable intermediate. In this reaction, the secondary radical will form the most stable intermediate. The most stable intermediate then reacts with hydrobromic acid. Bromine is added by anti-Markovnikov, forming 1-bromopropane and radical bromine byproduct. This byproduct can be used over and over again and allows propagation to continuously complete. In the last step, known as termination, 2 radicals come together and terminate the reaction. In this case, our 2 peroxide radicals will form a bond and produce peroxide. Our final product is formed during propagation, known as 1-bromopropane, and the reaction can be summarized as shown. To recap, here's an overview of the full reaction when hydrobromic acid reacts with the peroxide. First, initiation forms 2 peroxide radicals. During propagation, a major and minor product are formed. The major product in this particular reaction, known as 1-bromopropane, is considered the final product. This portion of the reaction can happen continuously. In the last step, termination of the reaction results when the 2 peroxide radicals form a bond and produce peroxide. Thank you.